Hello and welcome to week 6 of PSYC4. So this week we're going to spend some time getting to know how to access Canvas policies and some of the other resources that are available to you. I personally think that this is really important for each of you to make sure that you're a knowledgeable student and make sure you know your rights and responsibilities as a student and as part of our Hornet family at Sacramento State. So this video is really just an overview. I know that the material might seem a little dense this week, and so I just want to make sure I'm giving you a friendly introduction so you're not getting too overwhelmed by all of it. The point of this module is not to know and memorize information, but more to give you a little bit of a window into what policies and resources might be relevant to you as a student, and more importantly, to give you the tools so that you're able to go back on your own and you're able to find the policies that you might need access to, and also how to get those resources that can help you succeed as a student here at Sacramento State. So the first thing I'm going to do is just review a couple of items within the module. So within this module, you're going to notice that there's a video outside of where you typically see it. So the video is presented here above the material, just so I can walk you through what these 3 different pages are and what information they contain. So the video will be here. And the first page here is going to highlight the Hornet Honor Code. And I think this is just really important for you to be aware of so you know what the university's policies are and how this can help you as you navigate your various resources. Okay, so this is the Hornet Code here. You'll see a code that will also take you straight to the Sac State Hornet Honor Code website. The next page is knowing your rights as a student. And I just highlighted some of the university's policies. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but I'm going to go through and show you how to access these. But the policies that I did highlight here, I gave you access to the links. So all of these links will take you straight to the site. And if you click on the name of the policy, it will take you to the actual policy. Policies can sometimes be challenging to read, so just know that these are written as straightforward as possible, but they do tend to be written in a way that almost appears to be a legal type of document with how it's written. So if you're ever reading a policy and have any questions, please feel free to ask me or any of the other faculty members for help with the interpretation of it. And then I also give you a little summary of what each policy covers here. Okay, so again, not an exhaustive list, but I just included some of the more common ones that students use. And this last page is a list of resources for you. So you'll notice as you scroll through this that there are really a lot of resources available to you as a student at Sac State. I tried to break it into 2 main categories. So we have the academic and career resources, so things like the Career Center, the Peer Academic Resource Center, and they can help you with free tutoring. The Prospects Peer Mentoring, the Reading and Writing Center. So all of these first ones are related to either your academic success or success in your career. So for example, the Career Center up here can help you with developing your resume and applying to jobs. And this resource is even available to you as an alumni, so not just when you're a current student. The next section focuses on cultural inclusion and equity resources. And you'll see here that there are many centers listed. So the Asian Pacific Islander, the American Center, the Dreamer Center, Martin Luther King Jr. Center, the Multicultural Center. I have Pride Center on here, and the list goes on and on. So you can see there are many resources on campus. There's also quite a few programs on campus geared towards cultural equity and inclusion. I listed these additional resources in a table format. And I really try not to overwhelm you with all this information, but just make sure that it's easily accessible. Um, so that if you notice something that was important for you individually, you could have easy access to it and it would hopefully help with your success as a student. So that's the format for the material this week. You'll notice that there's no reading in your textbook this week, and that's because all of the information in this module is specific to Sacramento State. So again, this is not meant to overwhelm you with reading or information, but more just to give you an opportunity to become familiar with the policies and resources that are available for you. So I did put together a short PowerPoint so I can walk you through a couple of places in case you need to find a policy or a resource in the future that isn't listed in the course materials. You can also download the slide presentation and then if you run it as a slideshow, you'll be able to click on the links to the different websites that I'm going to show you now. The first place is where to find the Hornet code. So if we go onto the website link for diversity and inclusion, it's going to bring up the website here. And you'll notice that this last link is the Hornet Honor Code right down here on the right-hand side. So if you click on this link, it's going to take you to the Hornet Honor Code. And I've also listed this in the material for this week as well. Okay, and just again, it's this link right up here in the purple part that's underlined that will take you to the Hornet Honor Code. The next place I want you to know how to navigate to is university policies, especially those that pertain directly to you as a student. Now, there are a couple of ways you can go about finding these policies. They're not always intuitive to find, and unfortunately, they're not all listed in one specific place. So I'm going to give you 3 different suggestions for where to find them. The first is the Division of Student Affairs. So on their website, there's a link for student policies and procedures. So I'll just go there. So if you click on this underline, it will take you to the website. So this is the student policies and procedures. You'll have a list that is relevant to you as a student. And you can click on this website. You can find information about FERPA, student contact policies, your rights and responsibilities as a student, academic policies, and things like that. These are all of the different here's the student rights and responsibilities policy. So you can see that there. Like I mentioned before, some of these are kind of written like legal documents. So just keep that in mind when you're reading them. But this is where you can find all of the student policies and procedures. And like I said, there are many ways to find these policies and procedures. So another one of them is to go to the main catalog for the university. And you'll notice that on here are the academic policies. So I'm just going to bring this one up too really quickly. And as you can see, if we bring it up here, this is the main catalog. Okay, so as you can see, there are academic policies over here on the left, academic policies. If you click on that link, you get access to several different policies on campus. So this is not an exhaustive list, so keep that in mind, but this is one of the ways to get some of those policies. So you can see things like academic honesty, the grading system is useful, repeating courses, credit hours. So if you're taking things like research units, what else is on here? Official transcripts or transfer evaluation. So a lot of these policies are really useful to students. So that's another way of finding them, is going straight to the university catalog. Okay. If you want to have all of the policies in their original form, so a lot of those other places in the Division of Student Affairs and in the catalog, those are mostly a summary of the policies themselves, but you can find the original policy in the U manual. So the U manual is an online place where you can find all current university policies that are approved. And if you go to the U manual website, I'm going to just bring that one up really quickly. It'll give you the ability to look up, oh, links are not coming up. Hmm. Ah, here we go. Okay, so you have to click on this little box here and you can sort of decide how you're going to see these. So you can look up maybe the A to Z or different types of agencies or divisions on campus. But if you just click on this A to Z policy link, you'll see it will bring up a lot of these policies for you, and you can see them in their original form. So, academic honesty and policy, and you'll see it in its original policy form. So for any of you that haven't looked at a university polity before, this is the traditional format for it. So it's going to have things like the university name. It'll have things like the name of the policy here, the policy administrator, so who that is, when it went into effect, if it's been updated at all. So see, this one has been updated a couple of times, and it'll also give you the policy number and any cross references with other policies as well. Okay, so if you're looking for information like that, very specific information, then you want to look at the policy in its original form. And the policies in their original form too, though, they can be short or long, depending on the policy, but you can go through and read the full one as it might pertain to you, or if you want to see it in its original form. But I really think it's important because to just know where these policies are and know how to access them, because you might not be fully aware of all the rights that you have as a student. And you might also want to be more aware of your responsibilities as a student. So just as the faculty have rights, we also have responsibilities, and as students, you have rights and responsibilities as well. For example, there's a new interim policy on syllabi that went into effect 1 week before the fall 2020 semester started. That syllabus policy defines things, for example, such as whether you have a right not to have to turn on your webcam during classes. So things like that are items that are good to be aware of. Actually, I might see if I can find that policy very quickly. Let's see. I'm not seeing. I thought it would be under COVID or syllabus. I'll look for that specific policy and let you know what it's called, because I think that is really useful for students. So you understand your rights, especially now that we're sort of being forced online, and you have to be on a computer, and that sort of, maybe the camera is showing your home. Maybe you don't want people to see your home. That is your private location, and we might not want others to see that, and things like that. So this policy addresses sort of all of your rights as a student having been forced online during this sort of COVID-19 crisis on campus. So I'll look up that policy and let you guys know exactly what it's called. So if you're interested in looking at it, you can look it up. Okay. The next item I want to briefly go over is campus resources. So there are many resources available to support you as a student, and it's really a shame to not take advantage of these while you're enrolled at Sacramento State. So we're going to talk about where they are and how to find them. So one of the easiest ways to find this is just to go to Sacramento State's main page. So if you log in through the My Sac State, you'll sort of see this same page. But this is what it looks like from the main Sacramento State webpage. So up here, over here, it says apply, experience. And I don't know how many of you have ever clicked on this experience tab, but if you do, it brings up information that's beneficial for you to be aware of, including some resources and centers that are really good for you to know about. So for example, let me see if I open up this main page. See if it will, why it's not letting me. Okay, so if we click on student success, so typically my site is being a little weird, but you should see just a tab that says experience, and if you click on that, it will take you to this student success page here. So here's some information about accessing support services. So there are 4 buttons here on the bottom under the student success page. So academic support services. So here you'll find things like the Peer and Academic Resource Center, so PARC. That's a free tutoring center, which is great. There's a math tutoring center, a writing center, so you can have your writing looked at before you hand in a writing assignment, which is great. You can also look at educational and equity programs. So for example, the Full Circle Project, the Dreamer Resource Center, the MLK Center. So it starts to sort of list a lot of these programs on campus that are for academic support, equity, and inclusion, and as well as advising tools. I think the Academic Advising Center, let's go back. Students with disabilities, this is where you would find all of the information here. So here's the advising, so Academic Advising Center. So this would be for general education, GE advising. You can also go to any full-time psychology faculty member for advising, but we'll get a little more into how to do that in the coming weeks. And then lastly, they have student services. So these will focus on things like the bursar's office, the care center, so crisis assistance and resource educational support. So that'll include things like health counseling. You can also access Students with Disabilities Center here, the testing center, the food pantry, the Veteran Success Center. So there's a lot of different ways to access centers and programs on campus. So going through the student success site is a good way to get to a lot of them pretty quickly. So just to sort of back up and make sure you know how to get there, this is just the main Sacramento State or My Sac State. You'll go to experience, and it should take you to student success. And then that's how you can sort of access all of those programs and support services available to you. Okay. The other way is just to go to the main link for centers and institutions. And that will also list out all of the centers on campus, broken up by college, by community centers, by diversity inclusion, and by student success. So we'll just click on that, bring that up really quick. So this is another way to have access to a lot of those programs on campus that might be important for you to be aware of. So you can see they're divided. So here by college, by community, diversity, inclusion, student success. So this is just one more way for you to access all of these. And lastly is the Prospects Peer Mentoring Center. So this is part of the psychology department. So you're not going to access this through those other resources or web page. You want to go straight to the main department page for psychology. So let me pull that up. So this is the main psychology page, and you'll notice there's a link for the peer prospects. It's down here. Here we go, right here. Peer Mentoring Center. So you can click on this. So during the semester in our PSYC4 class, you'll virtually go to their drop-in office hours, which are over here. You see the spring 2021 virtual office hours. I'll also list these the week that that you'll be required to go and visit. I'll have all of these office hours listed for you as well. You can meet with them. You'll meet with them as part of your assignment when we start the advising and career development. But this is one way to access their information. So by going to the main psychology website. And I also have the links to several of these resource centers on the week 6 instructional materials page. So that is everything I wanted to go over today. I hope that you don't find the information too overwhelming as you get into it, but you'll become just a little more comfortable with figuring out how to find different policies and resources on campus. So I hope you find this information valuable. I know it's a little bit dry as far as materials go this week, but nonetheless, it's really important for your success as a student here at Sac State. So I hope you all have a great week.